turn on a recording here. So one of the problems I have is that I can't stream to both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So here I am streaming to Facebook, and I'm making a recording that I can put on my YouTube later. But it's just so much more convenient if I can just live stream to things. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to jump on here. I have no idea if my stream's even working. Okay, right on. Alright. Let's see if a few people want to jump on here. And actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to go and put some more water on because I'm going to need some more coffee for this. Other than that, we will take a look at a few charts here today. Figure out what exactly Bitcoin is trying to do here. And maybe talk about it a bit. I don't know if anybody's going to jump on. Still no viewers. Alright. Oh yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, alright, let's take a look at a few charts and get an idea what Bitcoin is going to do, because this is, I don't know, it's a little bit interesting. So, for those of you who weren't watching yesterday or the other day or whatever when I made my last video, let me zoom out and we'll start zoomed out. Okay, so the item of interest that I have been watching, okay, ignore all these other numbers. We'll talk about that in a bit. So the item of interest that I've been watching for like the last, I don't know, month and a half maybe, is this descending wedge. Okay, before, well, I guess, yeah, about a month. Let's see, what do we have here for a date when I was looking at this bottom? Yeah, okay, so we're about a month. A little bit more than that because it was in this dip over here that I started looking at this falling wedge pattern instead of a triangle pattern, and that's how I called this bottom, and I happen to be right. Okay, so the item of interest that I've been watching are these yellow lines, which is, it's a wedge pattern, so we call this a falling wedge or a descending wedge. And basically, to shorten up the story, this is a pattern that generally says that when it breaks out, it should break in the upward direction, and it should break with a little bit of momentum. Okay, so that's the item of interest that I've been watching. So let's zoom in here. Well, we can look at a couple other things. So there's a couple other things of interest here. One being RSI might actually get an opportunity here to poke out into the overbought area. And we're not really in a big FOMO rally right now, so if we poke up, if we have another day or two of upward momentum, that's going to be it for the daily chart as far as what I think. Okay, and zooming in, we'll take a look at why I also don't think that it's going to continue to go up. MACD also, it's crossed over, it's upward, so like really a lot of this does look, you know, a little bit bullish here at the moment, but we're fighting with some resistance here, and for that reason, I'm sort of ignoring the indicators and going with patterns and support and resistance here at the moment for my, you know, number one reasons, or my number one indications of what, you know, choices I should be making in the market, right? So let's just kind of zoom in here, and because everything else that's of interest will be on the zoomed in page. So for our chart, looks good here. Okay, so if you guys were watching on my previous video, I started looking at some Elliott wave patterns, which is the basis behind why head and shoulders patterns, you know, inverted or regular head and shoulders patterns actually make sense, and it all has to do with Elliott wave theory, which was invented by some guy named Elliot. Go figure. So what I kind of mapped out here was we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pattern, okay, with a failed fifth wave at the bottom, which is a bullish indicator to me as far as I'm concerned. If we have a fail, just like on the way up, 1, 2, 3, 4, if this fifth wave coming up, all right, was like only here, we would call that a failed wave, all right, a failed fifth wave, and that is a bearish indicator, okay? So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, see our waves are getting smaller, like this really, it means that it's failed, okay? In an Elliott wave, your second wave is generally, but sometimes your third wave is your longest wave, okay? And I guess I could have drawn this differently. I could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and a huge fifth wave. Like, it's kind of, it depends on how you look at it, but there's a lot more movement in here and in here, so it's kind of the way I did it. Some people might not agree, whatever. But still, it's so even if you drew this a different way, you would either have 5 completed waves, and then we should have an ABC going up, or what we've had is 5 waves down with a failed fifth wave, because our fifth wave is rather short, okay, and then it would be a bullish indicator, okay. So our bullish indicator is either ABC in the upward direction, which means we got to come down, or it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the upward direction. Let me put this back up to 85 where it was before I forget, because that's about where my target is right now. Okay, so it's either ABC in the upward direction, so let's delete this here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so either we've had 5 waves down, and we're going to have an ABC up, okay, which would already be completed, okay? That's ABC. And that would mean we're going back down. And some other reasons that I would agree with this. So again, from here, I would be saying we're coming down something like this. Okay? Now, some reasons for this, all right, are quite simply this resistance area, right? We did poke out of our descending trend line, but yeah, it doesn't really mean a lot yet, and the reason is because we have some very solid resistance right around this same area. So I mean, although yesterday I was saying that probably we're going to take a dip, it kind of went up a little bit more, but I mean, you see, we have this wick here, we're still at the same height, you know, we're within a few dollars between the top of this wick and in here, and which leads me to another reason of why I think we're going to take a little bit of a dip here first, but so we're still in this resistance area. You slide over this way again, following this red line all the way over. We have here a very, very hard point of resistance here as well. And then if I, again, I'm just looking at this area. So if I go here and we Alt-H to give us another horizontal line, this kind of gives us a range or a little bit of a zone where the resistance should be. So the resistance should be between the top of this peak and the bottom of this valley, I guess, peaks, valleys, I guess that word works, right? Okay, so our resistance should be in there. It could be right at this line, it could be right at this line, could be anywhere in the middle, because I mean, these are just imaginary lines drawn on a chart. Nothing's perfect, right? Okay, Jesse, they're imaginary lines on a chart, so why do you even draw them? Because it's a system of monitoring the charts and monitoring the price action, and everybody else does it and everybody else trades on it. So if you want to trade with the direction of the market, just follow the imaginary lines. Okay, so moving on. What I'm looking at here then is a very hard resistance in this area. Okay, let me pull up my other stuff here, and actually even zoomed in a little bit more might be easier to see. Let's go to a 1 hour chart. Okay, and again, if this is an ABC, that means we're going all the way back down, which it may not be, so this might be better drawn as an impulse wave. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm mostly just talking to myself at the moment. What was I going to get at? Okay. All right. What we have here going on is a little bit of a bearish divergence. Let me grab a line tool. Okay, we have here price action on the increasing direction. Okay, and align this down here with our RSI. That is here, and it's decreasing. RSI pretty well, you know, maxed out here. We hit a 90 RSI twice. All right, it's hard to get higher than a 90 RSI. Like, it's difficult, right? And if we don't get a higher RSI than 90, that means we're in a bearish divergence. So we have price action that's increased. We've made a new high, and our RSI has a lower high, right? So either this needs to keep pumping to like 8,500, maybe more, in order to say that we're not in a bearish divergence, okay? Because then RSI will come back up to 90, and then the divergence is negated, and we're no longer in a divergence. That's a very bullish indicator. Okay, so what is the likelihood that we're getting to 8,500 or to 9,000 or something like that in this particular move? Okay, I'm not talking about, you know, tomorrow or the next day or the next day. I'm just talking about in this particular move, like now, within the next few hours. What is the likelihood that's going to happen? To me, is very low because RSI is already high enough. Okay, because we're in this resistance area. I don't think that it happens in this particular move. If it does, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go out and buy. I'm not going to do any margin long positions. If it does just start FOMO rallying out of here, I'm going to look for a short around 8,500, okay? But I just don't think that's going to happen here at the moment. What I'm kind of doing is waiting for a dip. Now, if this is only an ABC, that means that we are still bearish, and we're going to end up back on our bottom trend line again, okay? But I want to look at something else, which also supports my theory for a dip, but this would be the bullish count. Let me get rid of some things. So, I did draw over here as well. I don't know if you guys can see. I got to do my notations differently. I should change colors. So let's do this one. Let's fatten this line and make it orange. Okay. So now we have, okay, so our orange here is an ABC pattern, and our other blue numbers are now our pattern within the pattern, okay? So if this is an ABC correction coming down, this leads me to believe that we are actually going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave in the upward direction, which means we still have another wave to go up. But that doesn't mean buy now. That still supports my theory of a dip incoming, okay? So again, if we have an ABC correction coming down, that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC upwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawn all goofy, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which has our failed fifth wave in it, which is the bullish indicator to say that we're going up. Whether that be an ABC or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was unknown. However, if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to go from here, 1, 2, 3, okay, we need a dip. It has to dip. Okay, it probably won't get quite that low. And I'm not doing a measured move here with Fibonacci. Okay, but ballpark, that's something that I am looking at. So whether this is an ABC correction in the upward direction, and this ABC on this side was actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is an ABC, means we're going down. If this was the ABC correction and we are taking a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave up, it still supports my theory that a dip is incoming right now. So I'm really not interested in buying or taking a long margin position here at the moment. If I'm going to take a long margin position, I'm going to do it somewhere near my 4, at least definitely under 72.50. I might scale an order, and then if it goes down a little more, I might take a little bit more. if we die below 68, I would say we're probably not looking too healthy. Because if we go below 68, what we have here is if our 4 goes below our 1, then we have a failed Elliott wave. It's just failed. So that means that we don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse wave going up. What we have is something else. Either it was an ABC and forming a new pattern, or we're just doing like a WXYZ sideways thing right now. Who knows, right? But any Elliott wave pattern right now tells me a dip is incoming. Okay? So all my other red horizontal lines, of course, these are just other areas of support and resistance, which is why I'm looking at them. I don't know. I think there's candles actually in here. So my 4 should end up somewhere between 68 and 7,000 is where my 4 is, and that's where I would be looking for long entries, right? Short entries, short entries is a possibility, like literally right now, a guy could take a short entry and maybe make some gains in here. Like if it comes down to the 4, that's a hell of a gain. There's another possibility that could end up happening here that I don't know if it will or not. It's just kind of, this is, I don't know, everything's Bart Simpson shaped. Like we've been doing Bart Simpson patterns for like 4 months, and I'm just scared to trade anything long because of the Bart Simpson dips that also come in. So pardon my lack of testicles for my trading at the moment. I'm just trying to give you all possible scenarios. So there's something in here. This is not correct. Let's say this is not correct and not ideal. I'm going to do it anyway. Okay? We could just be playing with a thing in here like this. Okay? Which also supports my theory of a dip is incoming. Alright? Now, again, head and shoulders. I'm not a fan of head and shoulders. It's like, it's a Mickey Mouse pattern, and yes, you can trade it based on the pattern visually, but really, the basis is Elliott wave theory. Okay, so this is Elliott. The head and shoulders is not really the correct way to be calling these patterns, but we're gonna draw it in here anyway because it also supports my theory of a dip is incoming, and we should end up somewhere back down here around this 4. Okay, so a head and shoulders possible in there. Not a strong head and shoulders, really weird looking head and shoulders. And it's in a hair chop Bart Simpson head pattern, so take it for what you will. But basically, what I see is whether this is my bearish scenario or it's my bullish scenario, I'm calling for a dip right now. So a possible short play, like right now from the 3. Possible long play if we get down to the 4. For me, if we get anywhere around 85, and again, 85, the reason I chose 85, okay, right in here, right around this 4 here, so we have a peak, but this whole area is like WXYZ pattern. WXYZ is basically like, WXYZ is mainly a sideways pattern. It might be a little bit up, might be a little bit down, but it's mainly a sideways pattern in Elliott wave. But anyway, so this whole area is really support and resistance. But I'm looking at this 4 because that's where its definitive moment was, and possibly up to here if we wanted a zone. So you can see where my 5 is, and I did that visually beforehand, but you can see where my 5 is somewhere in this area. If we get up to this area, I'm definitely will not be long anymore. I will be short, and I will be short because that's the end of the Elliott wave pattern, okay? And it's got to take a dip. It has to take a dip to do anything else from the 5. Okay, so your safest plays, like when you're trading an Elliott wave, is probably to not short right now and just look for the 4 to 5. So the 5th wave is probably the safest play right now, assuming we get to this support area and you make a buy and you set a stop loss somewhere down here at like 6,600 or whatever, because if we end up down at 6,600, we're going back down to 5K. That's what I think anyway. Okay. Otherwise, we should bounce somewhere down around the 4, end up going up again. So one of the other guys, you can accept the bearish scenario or the bullish scenario. both of them say we should be dipping from right here. Let's see if there's anybody joining in here. I don't think I got it. Oh. Arjun, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry, you can correct me on that one. Chris, Sahib, Travis, is it Chic? Is that how you pronounce it? Evan, Emma, JL, Leroy, Grace, thanks for joining. Jesse, what's up, brother? OBS does not allow you to stream out 2 simultaneous streams at the same time. However, something I'm considering is I can run 2 instances of OBS. I can screen record from both OBS instances, but I can only load my camera into one OBS instance at a time. So there's 2 ways I can go about this. One, I got to buy a second camera, and then I can load one camera into one OBS, one camera in the other OBS, screen share at the same time. But it's a pain, right? So the other option I was thinking of here at the moment was I may just get a program so that I can do camera virtualization. So basically, I create a virtual device or multiple virtual devices, however it works. I'm not sure yet. I know I used to do this using XSplit and Wirecast for different purposes. But basically what I would do is create a virtual device, have my camera streaming to the virtual device, and then I should be able to load the same virtual device into multiple instances of OBS. Should. Okay, and that's what I'm thinking. So I gotta try that. But I don't know of any easy software solutions at the moment that that can stream to 2 locations on Linux without using Wine or a virtual machine or anything like that, which I completely want to avoid because Wine emulations, compatibility layers, virtual machines are just not friendly to audio video. So I really, really want to avoid that and just only use native Linux binaries for this purpose. Or source, I can compile from source, I don't care, but yeah, definitely some native Linux binaries are needed. Any other questions out there, guys? Anything else I can cover for you? It's pretty well all I had here at the moment. I'm going to set up a different scene here. And you're probably looking at black screen for a second. Oh yeah, see, that's the other problem with OBS, is that I can't even put my camera on 2 different scenes and have it work. Okay, I'm coming back, guys. I'm coming back. So yeah, OBS kind of, it's Mickey Mouse, but I can always do this, I guess. That works. What's up, guys? What have a black? Oh, I have a black screen. I didn't put a screen in my background. I obviously didn't do all this setup very well, did I, guys? But whatever. I really need to shave too. I should put myself back in small view in the corner. I don't like this. Yeah, okay, so there's my problem, guys, is that I need something other than OBS for this purpose. Something other than OBS. Alright, so anyway, if there's no other questions or anything coming, guys, then I'm going to go ahead and just end this stream. If you guys didn't get the entire video, feel free to start back over as soon as I'm done. This will get posted to Facebook. I'll post a copy to my YouTube as well. Start the video over. You'll get just a shortened, condensed version of both my bullish scenario and my bearish scenarios, and you'll see what I was talking about, how I think a dip is incoming. Until then, guys, we'll see you on the next video, and remember, trade safe. Hit me up in my inbox if you have any questions. Feel free to check out my Discord, which you can get from my website at cointrademastery.com. Just make an account, log in, right on the back office, boom, link to Discord, click it, jump in the Discord group, come ask some questions, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, until next time, guys, trade safe. Ciao for now.